Welcome to 8 Minutes Reading in Channel Law Reader. Today I will read episode 1.35 from Article 447 to Article 456. Article 447. Development of legal instruments. The ministry or institution responsible for water resources may develop legal instruments, covering but not limited to the following aspects. A. Areas prohibited from water use or the construction of infrastructure / B. Development of provisions concerning infrastructures that take or use water resources. C. Establishment and management of a river basin authority. D. Identification of priority matters to be included in the river basin water resources plans. E. Incentives for research on or developing innovations to reduce waste, improve water quality, and increase water use efficiency. F. Incentives and disincentives related to financial mechanisms include but are not limited to: use charges and inclining block tariffs to encourage the efficient use of water resources. G. Creation and management of water use farmers associations. H. Declaration of natural protected water use zones. I. Designation and management of flood and drought retention areas. J. The infilling or alteration of natural watercourses. K. Development of provisions on groundwater development and the groundwater development industry, including but not limited to qualifications for bore contractors and bore pump installers, requirements certifying that a drilling machine is being operated under a certificate of drilling competence held by a certified contractor, taking samples, tests, analyses, surveys, and logs of bore data and the submission of them to the ministry or institution responsible for rural water supply. The reclamation of bores and the methods and requirements to be observed in reclamation operations, constructing and repairing activities, control, monitor, and evaluate bore drilling, methods of bore drilling and of determining sources of groundwater, measures and precautions to be taken before and during the drilling and improvement of a bore, respecting the preservation of inactive bores, repairing and maintaining inactive bores, regular maintenance and operation of active bores. ELT fees are imposed to cover the costs of water resources management and ecosystem. Payment in accordance with the provisions of this code. Part 2. Governmental cooperation. Article 448. National Committee of River Basin Planning and Management. 1. The ministry or institution responsible for water resources, in collaboration with the competent ministries or institutions and the Cambodia National Mekong Committee, shall develop a legal instrument that will establish the National Committee for River Basin Planning and Management. 2. The roles and duties of the National Committee for River Basin Planning and Management shall be determined by a subdecree. Part 3. Water Resources Planning. Article 449. National Strategic Water Resources Plan and River Basin Water Resources Plans. The ministry or institution responsible for water resources shall plan for the allocation and sustainable management of water to meet the Kingdom of Cambodia's future water demand through a National Strategic Water Resources Plan and River Basin Water Resources Plans. Article 450. Participation of stakeholders. The ministry or institution responsible for water resources shall collaborate with competent ministries, institutions, subnational administrations, and relevant stakeholders to develop the National Strategic Water Resources Plan and any river basin water resources plans. Article 451. Delegation of authority. The ministry or institution responsible for water resources may delegate the tasks to the National Committee for River Basin Planning and Management to develop the National Strategic Water Resources Plan and River Basin Water Resources Plans. Article 452. Developing and implementing the River Basin Water Resources Plans. The River Basin Authority responsible for developing and implementing the River Basin Water Resources Plans shall follow the provisions of this section. Article 453. Information for planning purposes. The ministry or institution responsible for water resources shall collect, store, and use information for planning purposes by a. Regularly verify and keep records of the volume and quality of water B. Collect information on water demand and impacts of water management on threatened ecosystems, biodiversity, freshwater, marine fisheries, and fisheries resources from the competent ministries or institutions and stakeholders. C. Collecting information about current and future water use and demand. D. Continually upgrading the national monitoring network to collect relevant information. Article 454. Technical Advisory Board. 1. The ministry or institution responsible for water resources shall establish a technical advisory board. 2. The Technical Advisory Board shall be comprised of technical experts with adequate qualifications. Qualifications of technical experts shall be determined by the ministry or institution responsible for water resources. 3. The Technical Advisory Board shall provide advice on the following. A. The draft of the National Strategic Water Resources Plan or River Basin Water Resources Plan. B. Amendment or update for a National Strategic Water Resources Plan or River Basin Water Resources Plan. C. Provision of other rights or authorities in accordance with the provisions of this Code and applicable laws and legal instruments. Part 4. National Strategic Water Resources Plan and River Basin Water Resources Plans. Article 455. National Strategic Water Resources Plan. 1. The ministry or institution responsible for water resources shall collaborate with relevant ministries or institutions and stakeholders to develop a national strategic water resources plan to determine A. Long-term water supply security. B. Sustainability of the water resources. C. Protection for ecosystems that depend on water flow and environmental flow. D. Fair and effective allocation and utilization of water to prevent disasters and conflicts. 2. The requirement to develop a national strategic water resources plan shall be determined by the legal instruments of the ministry responsible for water resources. Article 456. River Basin Water Resources Plans. 1. The ministry or institution responsible for water resources shall develop river basin water resources plans to A. Define the availability of water for each purpose. B. Provide a framework for sustainable management and consumption of water. C. Identify priorities and mechanisms for dealing with future water demand. D. Provide a framework for developing water allocations. E. Provide a framework for water allocations. F. Provide a framework for reversing the completely dry or degraded areas due to destruction in ecosystems, wetlands, or rivers, causing water resource loss. G. Define rights to access water resources. 2. Requirements, format, and procedures in developing the River Basin Water Resource Plan shall be determined by legal instruments of the ministries or institutions responsible for water resources in consultation with relevant ministries or institutions. Thank you for listening our reading. Please subscribe and like to get more information. Bye for now.